time again. It's time for Diary of a Physicist Farmgal, and this is episode number 44. My name is Deborah, and I'm coming to you from here on my family farm in the foothills of the Arkansas Ozarks, where I like to do all the crafts. I knit, I crochet, I sew, I quilt, I make baskets, I make jewelry, I do needlepoint. I'll try any craft once and twice if I like it. I am also a professor of physics and astronomy at a local university where I teach classes to both general education and physics majors. I do volunteer in planetarium shows for the public and for school groups, and I'm heavily involved in projects for women in STEM and community outreach projects. I am also a farmer. I'm a third generation family farmer here where I raise grass-fed beef cattle. I raise horses. I have heritage poultry. I have rabbits, show quality rabbits. I also have a retirement herd of donkeys, miniature horses, a miniature mule named Pumpkin who thinks she rules the roost, and we have Princess Penny the pig. And as you can tell from my sweet little co-host here, and we may have an infiltrating co-host very shortly. If you follow Instagram, you'll know who. My sweet little co-host, Willie. I am fur kid mom to 13 dogs, 7 indoor cats, and an undetermined number of outside barn cats. So if any of all of that sounds interesting to you, I hope that you'll come join us as we start episode number 44 of Diary of a Physicist Farmgal. Hey, okay, so if you're looking for me on social media, you can find my farm Facebook page, which is also Buckthorn Farms, where I post periodically articles about farming. I post articles about homesteading, put lots of pictures, and occasionally some pieces that I write, kind of blog style pieces that I write. Also, I am on both Instagram and on Ravelry as Doc Firewoman, where you can follow and pretty much see pictures of lots of animals and things that I'm growing and stuff that I'm working on and good stuff like that. That's our visiting co-host. He's rummaging around over there in something. Okay, also on Ravelry you can find a group for the podcast, Diary of a Physicist Farmgal, where you can find out about make-alongs and giveaways and just general chit-chat and inspiration. We have a small but very loyal and fun community, so I encourage you to join us over there. And I am also on Twitter, but as I have warned you multiple times, I am a big old pretty liberal Democrat, socially liberal Democrat, and so if you follow me on Twitter, that's the one place where I kind of go to town with my political ranting. I keep it mostly to a minimum other places, but I am a pretty socially liberal Democrat, so if that kind of stuff gives you indigestion, either take some Tums or just don't follow me on Twitter. Okay, so on my Ravelry group, I have several make-alongs going on right now, and I'm going to quickly talk about them because I want to show y'all some of the things that I have accumulated and been given for podcast prizes, or excuse me, giveaway prizes for the year-end make-alongs. So first of all, I have the Never Have I Ever make-along, which is new techniques or new projects. I also have the Farmer's Almanac make-along, which I need to start working on the July post, which is a monthly giveaway of a pattern prize. I have the I Like Big Shawls and I Cannot Lie, which I'm co-hosting with Vanessa from A Historian Knits. And I also have the Creature Feature, which I am co-hosting with Laura from the Crocheting Whovian podcast, which is amigurumi themed. And last but not least, I have the Kit or Get Her Done, which is making kits to get the kits out of our inventory, and those run all year long. Those are through the end of the year, and you can read all the rules on my Ravelry group. And ending in a couple of weeks on my big 50 birthday is the Informal Earth Along, where I'm giving away some stitch markers. So you can read about all of those on my Ravelry group. I did give away the Fleece Flight pattern. I contacted the people who won and gave those away. And I also contacted the monthly winners and the quarterly winners. So we're all caught up on giveaway prizes, so that's it. Now let me talk just a little bit about some of my friends make-alongs that are going on. Right now there is in the A Historian Knits podcast group the Cowl, besides the I Like Big Shawls and I Cannot Lie, she is running her Cowl through the end of June, where you're making cowls. In the Crocheting Whovian podcast through the end of June, we have the Autism Awareness Make-Along and the Life Changes Make-Along for her shawl pattern. Then we also have the Whip It Good, which runs through the end of the year, which is finishing up any whips that were started prior to March 1st. Then, if we go on, we have in the, go on down here, in the Grianaig Creations podcast, we have the Neck Blanket Make-Along, which is 2 full 100-gram skeins in the shawl or the cowl or however you want to call it. 2 of those. Then, in the go quickly, fast. Nic Nac Knits has the Sock It To Me make-along for single socks. She is also co-hosting the Life Changes knit-along with Laura. There's a Scrappy make-along, which is running through the end of the year, and I believe there's also the Lisa Much make-along, which is any of Lisa Much's patterns. Ninja Chickens, Maria from Ninja Chickens is running the Fleece Flight, which is her pattern that donates to the Livestock Conservancy. I believe that's running into the fall. I haven't looked at the actual dates. Then in Pinhook and Needles, we have several different ones. Autism Awareness through the end of the month of June. The Tea and Tails, which runs through the end of the year. Sparkle Like the Star You Are, which I believe runs through the end of the month. And I think that that's everything for them. Then you go on down, and I'm just reading these off, can you tell? In the, oops, well, it'd be smarter if I did it that way, huh? Technical difficulties these days. Trying to get through these because I've got a lot to talk about. Undead Yarn, Finish It or Frog It 2019 along, where there's different projects. She also has a thread, Heidi has a thread for objects made from her yarn, Undead Yarn finished objects. And she gives away really nice prizes. I'm going to show you one that I won. Vanilla Sock Pig is co-hosting with Autism Awareness. She also, I believe her multiple myeloma make-along is done. So right now I think the only thing she has going is her Autism Awareness cowl while she is recovering, and we hope quickly and speedily from hip replacement surgery. So hang in there, Stephanie, and hopefully you'll get better soon. Also, the Yarn and I podcast has I Love Mickey Craft along, the FO thread, and then also Whatever Makes You Happy along, which you can read more about that on her Ravelry Group. So all these people are podcasts that I enjoy watching, and they have some different make-alongs going on, so check those out. So now I'm going to make Willie get down for a minute. I'm going to show you a few of the prizes that I will be giving away at the year end for our big giveaways for the finished objects from the different make-alongs. So Willie, I'm going to sit you down for just a minute, bud. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few things that I have been graciously given or have picked up for prizes for the year-end make-along prizes. And I'll just make packages out of these. I don't know how I'm going to sort them. My local yarn shop, Stephanie, was kind enough to give me this beautiful skein of Fiber for the People. This is their 80% merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards fingering weight yarn. And this is one of their Misfit skeins. Isn't it beautiful? It's that beautiful bottle green, black green here. And then this gorgeous burgundy. So we'll have that in our giveaway. Then also from Knit Two Together, there are 2 skeins of Liberty wool. This is it's machine washable superwash wool, and let's see, what is this? 122 yards for 50 grams, so this is about a DK weight yarn, and there's 2 skeins of that, so that'd be a nice hat. Also, I just have some little, little like notepads and cute things. Then I am giving away a Bucilla crewel kit, which is a nice little teapot of flowers there. So if you want to learn how to do crewel embroidery, you might win that. Once upon a time, Deborah thought she might learn how to spin with a drop spindle. And so I ordered all this stuff, which never got taken out of the box. So I am going to give you some art yarn rolags, which are bamboo, hemp, feathers, silk, and hand-dyed alpaca, and a drop spindle. So those will go together in a package. Also, I have 5 skeins of this Red Heart Boutique Unforgettable in the Petunia colorway. And so each one is, I don't know, 270 yards. So I think I've got 5 skeins. So you get 1,350 yards of this Unforgettable. So you can do something pretty with that. Also with the spinning, you will get, along with the art yarn rolags and the drop spindle, I will put in with that a little sampling of Firestar and a sampling of Tussa Silk. So I'll put all those together into one package. And I will give you a bag of raw fleece, Surrey alpaca, 4 ounces of Surrey alpaca. Okay, so that'll all go together in one package for somebody who likes to spin, because I know that's kind of a niche thing. I'm terrible at it. So, gifted to me by Sparky136, Patsy sent me a hat kit, and in this kit you get or ear warmer kit. It looks like a bun beanie. Is what it looks like. You get the pattern, you get the needles, and you get the yarn to make the bun beanie. Okay. So you get all of that, Plymouth Yarn Company. So that'll be in a prize package. And what I'm going to do is I'm doing 5 big make-alongs, and there's going to be one prize for each one prize package for each one. Don't know how I'll split them up yet. I'll worry about that closer to time. She also sent these cute little note cards. Guess he loves to knit. Also, from my local yarn shop, I found this cute little felted notions pouch. Some other little cute things that I've got. These are little pill cases, but they would be great to store stitch markers in. I've got a couple of those, and they've got little cute foxes and things on them. These are some minis from Moontower Dyeworks and Undead Yarns. Also, from the Clever Clove, a little project bag. From one of my loyal and wonderful viewers, Mary Knitter, we have a project bag and matching yarn. So a beautiful project bag and matching yarn, and that's a shoulder style project bag, and there's a little progress keeper on it too. And then also this beautiful St. Patrick's Day yarn and bag. And then a few more minis. Okay, I may package all those minis together in like a set, we'll see. And I think, oh, I have some pins. I have some cute little pins that I purchased. This is from Expressions Fiber Arts, and then these two are from the Clever Clove. So those will go in a prize pack. Then I have some other little notions containers and things like that. And then I also have a Leon Alexander pin. So those will all be mixed and matched and put around for the prize packages. And I'll be adding more to that as time goes on. I'll probably make some project bags as well to put in there. But yeah, so if you're interested in any of that stuff, get in on the fun with the make-alongs. Okay, so yeah, so that's kind of where we're at on that. I just wanted to share, kind of maybe get people excited about being involved in the make-alongs and get people talking about it. The quarterly and monthly prizes are all pattern prizes. So I draw for patterns because that's just simpler. But the year-end prizes will be a prize pack. And then also from all of the FOs, from all 5 of the make-alongs, I'm going to draw one winner for a $25 gift card kindly donated by Laura from a Crocheting Whovian from Etsy. So there's be some good prizes at the end of the year. I hope that you'll join in. I appreciate everybody who has joined in so far. It's been a lot of fun. So now we're going to move on and talk about finished objects. Well, I think it's been a minute since I've talked to you guys. It's just seemed like things worked out where I couldn't find a good time to record. And so you would think I would have more FOs than I do to share with you. But the first one I'm going to show is my little pumpkin basket. I finished him. I finished the little pumpkin basket. His nose is not stuck down very good. I need to glue that better. This is a little felt basket. I've got some stuff stuck in it to kind of give it shape right now. This is a little felt basket with blanket stitch on his little leaves and his little face features there. And I've got stuff stuck inside it, you can see. But try to get his nose to stay on there. So he's a cute little pumpkin basket for the holidays. He's just felt, so he doesn't hold his shape very good if he doesn't have stuff inside of him. But I thought he was awfully cute, and I'm going to enter him in the fair. We're starting to get in fair mode here. Another thing that I have been doing is I'm exploring different ways to finish cross stitches. I think Downriver Knitter, Marilyn, was talking about framing is expensive. I mean, we all know this. Getting something framed is fairly expensive. So she was talking about different ways you might be able to finish cross stitch, and I was talking about like making wall hangings or whatever. And I had this little piece of cross stitch that was some violets. So what I did was I made a lavender sachet out of it. Okay, I just got a piece of sturdy fabric for the back and just stitched around it and closed it up. I put a little ribbon on it to hang, and then I have some of my lavender flowers in here that I dried from my garden and made a little sachet that you can either hang in your room, or you can put it in a drawer, or you can do whatever with it. I thought it was awfully cute. So, you know, different ways to finish. You can make pillows, you can make wall hangings, things like that that are a little bit more cost acceptable or cost effective, I guess you should say, for your cross stitch, just because it is expensive to get things framed for everything. But the one big whip that I want to share with you that I have finished is I have finished my Life Changes shawl. Okay, Life Changes is a pattern by Laura Concert from A Crocheting Whovian. It's Laura Concert Designs. I have not woven in the ends or blocked it or anything, but I have finished the Life Changes shawl. It's a big asymmetrical shawl. It's a beautiful size. It's 2 full skeins, and I mean I used just about every lick of this yarn. Okay, the black is just some Malabrigo, and then the brightly colored is by Honeybee Knits Be Positive from her Tits Out Collective colorways. So it is a beautiful asymmetric shawl. It is a gorgeous, I'm really pleased with the colors I picked out, and it is a wonderful size because I like having enough, I like to have some stuff to hang down. I don't know, so I can do this. I don't know why, but it is a beautiful size, and it's a really great pattern. It's very easy to follow, and it's just, I highly recommend it. It's very beginner friendly. So yeah, so Life Changes shawl off the needles. Still need to give it a bath and weave in the ends, and this is going to be one of my fair entries. I thought it would be really cool to enter an object made from a pattern by a friend of mine into the county fair So this is going to go in as my knitted shawl entry in the fair. So yay, I finished my Life Changes shawl. So yeah, so that's all my finished objects for this week. So I'm going to move on, and I do have quite a few whips, so I guess I have been doing something. So we'll move on to those. Okay, it is hot outside, y'all, and I gave up on the whole makeup and fixing my hair thing today because it is just so hot. And here comes Willie. He will not be denied today. So I have a few whips that I want to share with you today. I guess I'll just start kind of in the order that they're in. So let's see here. The first one is, because I didn't have enough going, I decided I needed to start this piece of plastic canvas. It is a pumpkin welcome sign. So this is how far I've gotten on it. It is, the pumpkin is here, and then across the bottom will be a little sign that says welcome. Let me see if I can find a picture. Ah, here it is. Might be more instructive if I showed that to you, huh? This is a Jim Shore needlework kit. That's what it looks like. So I have gotten this far on it. Okay. This is a nice project for evenings when I don't want to do a lot of thinking, because it's actually fairly straightforward and it's fairly quick. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turning out. I've never done this big of a plastic canvas project before, so I'm excited to see how it turns out. So let me put this back in here without making too much racket, and then I will move this out of the way. Hang on, Willie. There we go. Okay, the next thing that I have going on is I decided I needed to sew. So I started some pillows. These are both fabric panel cutouts that I had. I don't know if I had them or they were in my mother's stuff, but I've actually got another set of these on a blue background. This is the Apple Angel, and I like her because she's got honeybees around her. Okay, and she's double-sided, so she's got, you see her front and her back. And so I'm going to stuff this, and then I'm going to add some embellishing work to it. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to add some embellishing. And then to go along with her, we have the Autumn Leaves Angel. Okay, so she's raking the leaves there, and she's got a little squirrel friend down there by her feet. And they're on the back. So I've got those two sewn up. I just need to get them stuffed. Then another thing that I got sewn up, and I can't find her decorative accessories here. I've moved them. So, oh, is that one? Okay. Because everybody needs a swan pillow. So I have my swan pillow here. You can see her bottom. I've got to stuff her. But then she also has two interchangeable decorative neck accessories that need to be stuffed. She has a heart for Valentine's Day and a grapevine wreath for fall. So, you know, that's what we chiefly need in this world, right? Is a swan pillow with interchangeable decorative neck accessories. So I got that sewed up. Then, let's see, I am still working on my Noah's Ark cross stitch. I kind of lost the floss for it. Don't know what I did with the floss. Put it somewhere very safe. So this is an older cross stitch kit that I had, and I have made this much progress. I've started working on the lion. I've still got to add there's a giraffe up here, and then a reindeer down here, and then do the back stitching and the wording and the umbrella, and then I'll be done with that. So I want to get that finished because I've got somebody in mind I want to give that to. So I want to get that off out of the hoop, I guess is the right way to say that. Then I got quite a bit more back stitching done on my carousel horse. those flowers are what's taking all the time here, doing all the back stitching and all these flowers. But I'm about 75% of the way done with the flowers, and then I'll just do his back legs and the tail, and he'll be done. And then I have to decide how I want to finish this. I don't know if I want to frame this or if I want to do like we were talking about and do a wall hanging out of this or not. So, yeah, so there's that. Oh, Sadie hears somebody driving by. She's a good watchdog, she is. Okay, then, Willie, I'm going to need you to get down for this one, because if something bad happens to this shawl when I take it out, I'm going to be apoplectic. Jump down. There you go, buddy. Okay. I have made progress, discernible progress, on my Gothic Angel shawl by Boo Knits. This was last year's Mystery Knit Along by Boo Knits, the Gothic Angel Mystery Knit Along. It is now no longer a mystery, so that's what it looks like. Okay. I am, let's see, where am I? I am, I am 7 rows away from being done with the main part of the body, and then I will start working the border. I am storing this in my Magpie Knits Happy Halloween bag. Magpie Knits on Etsy, my friend Agatha. I am knitting this out of Kimmery Nic Nac's West Texas Sunset Lace Weight yarn. And let's see. And magically, I am not in the middle of a row, y'all. Okay. Don't do that with your teeth. That's bad for your teeth. Okay. So, last time I showed this to you, it was down there where the little doggy bone was. So, I have done all this much. It is impossible to show the detail of the lace, but I will try. It is a heavily lacy beaded shawl with a beautiful lace pattern, and I will tell you what, if you want to learn to read your knitting, this shawl will do it. Okay, so the center panel here has got a lot of beading in it, and that's my lifeline there. And I've got, like I said, I've got about 7 more rows to go on this for the main body, and then we have to do the border and the picot bind off. So I'm getting close. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel now. It's no longer just a distant breeze of some opening to the surface like it was the last time I showed it. So yeah, I just kind of hit my stride with that one night, and I've been working on it off and on for several nights, so I'm proud of that. Okay, I'm going to move that. I have made a little bit of progress on my Purl Soho crocheted stash basket. This is a free pattern from the Purl Soho website. Let me see if I can find the front of it here where you can see what it looks like. Well, of course not. There it is. So there's what it looks like when it's finished. And I have made some progress. This is going to be my first finished object for Shave 'em to Save 'em, for the Livestock Conservancy Shave 'em to Save 'em initiative. I am making this out of black Welsh Mountain yarn. And black Welsh Mountain yarn is a yarn that tends to be good for rugs and things like that. It is not necessarily a shawl yarn, but is a very durable yarn. It might be good for outerwear also. This is technically sport weight, and this calls for worsted. So I made it, I made the base a little bit bigger, and now I'm going up the sides. Now right now it looks like a misshapen beret, okay, but I'm going up the sides with the loops, okay. And then when I get done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to starch it so it will stand up firmly. So I made the base, you know, about 8 inches wide or 9 inches wide. And then mine won't be as tall as the picture, which is fine. It'll be more like a bowl. but I still think it will be pretty and it'll be unique, and it'll be my first completed Shave 'em to Save 'em project. So I'm excited about this. This yarn is from Desert Wear. They raise Black Welsh Mountain Sheep. And that is will be my first completed project for Shave 'em to Save 'em. And I've got a box coming from Laura that's got a bunch more yarn that she and Miss Shirley got for me at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And I want to do a fleece flight. So I'm looking forward to getting that and getting that done. Okay. As if I didn't have enough going, one night I was really tired, and why this equates to me being really tired is not clear, but I was sitting here really tired. I was watching Criminal Minds, and I thought, I think I'm gonna make a doily. So I have this Leisure Arts leaflet that I picked up at a I think this was the Band Boosters garage sale for 10 cents. And I flipped through it until I found one that I liked. So I am making the swirl doily. And Leisure Arts is a company located here in Arkansas. It is located in Maumelle, Arkansas. And a good friend of mine is one of their graphic designers. And also is a place that hires science majors as technical editors. So I'm very excited. I'm using my friend Dana's mother's thread that she donated to me, and I am on about getting ready to start round 6. So this is as far as I've gotten. This was one, about an hour's work one evening while I was watching Criminal Minds. But hey, got to get those doilies done so you can put them in the fair, right? So I'll get that worked out fairly soon, and that will be fun. Okay, so I believe that that's all of my works in progress that I'm going to show you. I've got some sewing ones, but they're secret. They're for Shirley. Don't tell her. And I know you're going to watch this, so you don't get to see. Haha. But anyway, so yeah, so that's all my works in progress. So we're going to come back for just briefly and talk about future crafting. Okay, I kind of have a mixed bag of future crafting things. The first thing I want to do is show you a pattern that you might be interested in getting. I meant to talk about this up top, but I forgot. My friend Nancy actually made me aware of this. She posted something about it on my Ravelry group. The Shetland Islands in Scotland are trying to raise funds to purchase an MRI for their hospital. If you know anything about the geography of Scotland, the Shetland Islands are very far north off the mainland. It is a ferry ride or a plane ride. It's a time-consuming journey to get to the mainland, and they need an MRI scanner. So they have a appeal going on right now where if you purchase this pattern, the Harriet's Hat pattern, okay, the Harriet's Hat, this was a pattern written by Harriet Middleton. She learned to knit like most people on the Shetland Islands, and learned to knit Fair Isle by the time she was 6 years old. So she said the crown is designed to resemble an MRI scanner. I don't know about all that, but we'll look. And it is also a historic reference to the time in Shetland when money was being raised for desperately needed medical equipment. And her son sat with her and documented all the stitches so that they could write this pattern. So it says that over 600 patients a year must travel south to have an MRI done. They're used to diagnose and monitor a wide variety of conditions, and there can be MRI scan delays due to bad weather or transport or logistical problems. So it makes it a challenge, and so they're trying to raise £2 million to purchase an MRI scanner. So this is an appeal that they have going on. The pattern is £4, which is about $5.75. You cannot purchase it on Ravelry. There's a link that sends you to their website, and you purchase it directly from them and then get a download. But it is a beautiful pattern, and so I went ahead and purchased a copy of it for myself. So I encourage you to go check that out. It's the Harriet's Hat. It is on Ravelry, but it sends you to an external website to purchase the pattern. So I encourage you, if you're interested in supporting that, to check that out. That is way above my pay grade, but someday I'll make that. More along the lines of my pay grade is I am going to knit a sweater. And I don't know if she watches my podcast, so I'm going to tell who it's for. My good friend Sasha, who you've heard me talk about fairly often on here, is expecting her first child in October. It's a little boy. And I have decided that my first attempt to knit a sweater will be for him. I am going to knit the Flax Light. And I'm going to knit it out of, they're going to do like a woodsy themed baby room. So I'm going to knit it out of Expressions Fiber Arts, and this is called Lucky Ducklings. This is one of her fingering weight. It's her Resilient Superwash Merino sock, so it's 100% superwash merino, and it's 400 yards of yarn, and the Flax Light calls for less than that for the infant size. So at my local yarn shop today, I got all the needles, DPNs, and stuff that I needed to do this, and I am going to knit this. So Sasha, surprise! You can't have it till after the fair, though. So then another knitting project that I am working on. I just went into my pile of whip bags here, and this is one of my, this is a like a paint by number kitty cats bag, and in it I have something that will work great for the next installment of Creature Feature. It is a kit from Cloudborne Fibers, what used to be Craftsy, now Blueprint. It is the Toy Sloth knitting kit. Isn't he cute? I think he looks adorable. So with the kit, you get the pattern, and then you get the two colors. You don't get the eyes or things like that, but these are the two colors that I selected for my sloth. So that will be my one of my Creature Feature Wild and Woolly quarter installments. So got that. So that's my fibery stuff that I want to make. Then sewing / quilting, I purchased last year at Bargains Galore on 64. If you watched Vlogust, you heard all about Bargains Galore on 64. I purchased this at one of the places. It is a brand new quilted bag kit, and it's actually made on gridded fusible interfacing. They give you the charm pack to cut. It's a Moda summer basket of flowers, and there's all the different fabrics in there that you cut down. You have to cut them down. I think you cut 4 squares out of this and then fuse it to the fusible interfacing, and then it gives you the instructions on how to make the bag. Okay, so I want to get that made up. I think that'll be beautiful. So that's in the top of my soon to be sewn up pile. Then I'm going to talk about it in acquisitions, but my good friend Carol and I drove down to the opening of Arkansas Yarn Company's retail space. I wanted to see Nikki from the Nic Nac Knits podcast, and then support the opening of a brick and mortar store. So on the way back, we stopped at Joann Fabrics in Little Rock. Little Rock's about an hour and 20-minute drive for me, and it is the closest actual bona fide fabric store that I have. That's what they do. They're not a craft store with fabric. I purchased this little mini quilt kit. I had a coupon, so I thought it was really cute. And it turns out it's a printed panel. And then you just do the quilting. So they give you the backing and they give you the border, and it's just a printed panel, and you just do the quilting. But guess what? It turns out there is a printed panel quilt top division in the fair. Yay for the fair. Anyway, so yeah, so there is that. It's called Doggy Days. Okay. And it gives you the top, the backing, and the binding all on this printed panel, and the instructions, obviously, which it's not that hard to figure out the instructions. But it has some pretty clear instructions on how to do the binding, which has been an area that I've struggled with in the past. So I'm looking forward to using that. Is that it? No, no. In the needlework world, I've got a big piece of cross stitch that I need to get started as a gift, but I also want to make this little cute Santa Claus. I like big things and little things too, so I feel like I'm getting somewhere. But apparently I am very serious about embroidering me some towels, because over time I have managed to pick up 3 of these. Now here's the downside. There's 7 days in a week and there's 2 towels per pack. So you're going to end up with 8 towels or 6 towels. Why don't somebody just make a 7 towel pack? I'm sure there's somebody out there that does. But anyway, so I've got my towels, and then I've got my Aunt Martha's transfers. I don't know which ones I want to do first. I like the little doggies, but I also like the ducks. So I've got several doggies. I've got Fruit and Veggie Pup, which my friend Jackie, she said that disturbs her. I don't really know why, but okay. I've got Cowboys, Cow Pups, and then I've just got Puppy Fun. But I also think that these little sunbonnet ducks are really cute. She actually is, she looks more like a goose. But oh well, we won't be picky. So we'll see what I end up doing, or if I end up doing. I got all the good intentions in the world to do this, so we'll see. We'll see. Eventually, right? Eventually. Or about 50 years from now, y'all can go to one heck of an estate sale. Anyway, so that's all of the future crafting I have for you guys this week. So let's move on and talk about acquisitions. If you're just here for the crafty content and you don't want to see acquisitions or science or any of that stuff, I'll catch up to y'all later. But if not, let's move on and talk about acquisitions. Okay, so for some reason I have quite a few acquisitions. I guess it's because I haven't done this in about 3 weeks. So I'll try to go through these as quickly as possible, but some of the stuff is too cute not to share. As y'all know, I am in the Woolly Wonka Celtic Year Shawl Club, and we got today in the mail our Litha, or Summer Solstice kit. And it's kind of hard to tell because of the wrapping, but these colors remind me of peaches. The colorways remind me of ripe peaches. So that is a perfect color for the summer solstice. And then also included are these beautiful peach colored beads. And the pattern is gorgeous. I didn't print a copy of it off, unfortunately. So I won't be able to share that. Then I won a prize from the Undead Yarn podcasts. Heidi kindly sent me this beautiful skein of Dream in Color yarn. Excuse me. Dream in Color yarn, and then this cutter. Okay, that was my prize that I won from Heidi's podcast. Then I got my May installment for the Roll for Inspiration Yarn Club from Leon Alexander Yarns. And this is the Paladin. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, you remember the Paladin was sort of the holy knight. Like the Knights Templar. Those colors are beautiful. That's an interesting combination. That's not colors I would have thought to put together, but boy, they just work. They are right. There's some purple and some sky blue and some turquoisey blue and then this gold and yellow. And it says, "All hail the holy knight. I have always loved the holy magics of the paladin. I imagine the orange flashes of magic with the gray of the steel armor. This may be one of my favorites." So, yay! So that's my May edition of the Leon Alexander Roll for Inspiration Yarn Club. That is a quarterly club. The next sign-ups will be opening in July if you're interested. And he dyes beautiful, vibrant, colored yarns. Then, as I mentioned, I went down to the opening of the brick and mortar store for Arkansas Yarn Company. And was able to make a purchase. It was on Knit in Public Day, so I purchased the kit for the gnome for the Yarn in Public Day, and you got the mini set, and then also the pattern for the gnome, and then I also, of course, had to get one of her enamel pins. So Arkansas Yarn Company. She's also on, she has a presence online as well, but she now has a brick and mortar store. If you guys watched my video about Ellie Mae, y'all sadly know that I lost Ellie Mae a couple of weeks ago. She, we decided was in severe renal failure, and she passed away on a Friday night. I did a little tribute video to her, and a couple of days later, I got a package in the mail from Shirley, and it was a just "I love you, I'm thinking about you" package. So this is a sweet little card she sent, and then she sent me a pink sparkly photo album, because you gotta love those. She also sent me some socks with a hog on it. Woohoo! Like Princess Penny. And then she sent me these adorable little yarn cozies. They're little bunny rabbits. They're yarn cozies. I thought those were really cute. And Lord knows I need those because my yarn goes everywhere. So thank you, Shirley. That was a very sweet present. I really appreciate it. That was really lifted my spirits that day. Then at Joann's also, I found this fabric, y'all. Look at that. What caught my eye, the way it was folded, is I saw where it said physics. I like this fabric. I do wish that there was a little bit more diversity in the girls that are on it. But I do like the fact that it's got geology, astronomy, chemistry, physics, botany. It's got specific disciplines listed on it. So I bought enough of that to make myself a project bag. Bought 2 fat quarters. They had their fat quarters on sale for 75 cents or something crazy that day. Then a girl that I met through Laura's Zoom virtual knitting group, Heather, makes these adorable origami paper stitch markers. And they're little stars. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me see if I can. They're little stars, and they have, this set has flowers on them. And I bought another set that has weather on them, because you know I got to have that. And they're incredibly well priced. So you get 5 stitch markers per set. It's handmade by H, but I think it's handmade without the A in it. I'll link it below. But she sells a little cute origami paper star, and she puts a resin on them, so they're very durable, but they're incredibly light, so they don't weigh your knitting down. Deborah should not shop when she is sad. It's a good rule, right? Should not shop when you are sad. After I buried Ellie Mae, I came in the house, and I was just kind of staring off into space, and I have the Etsy app on my phone, which is probably not smart. But anyway, I got on Alum and Ink. Alum and Ink makes enamel pins. Okay, Alum and Ink makes enamel pins, and I have purchased from her before, and she does beautiful interpretations of whales or narwhals, sea creatures. So I purchased a series of whale pins from her. This is the blue whale, and then I think this one is a right whale. And then this one, I'm going to forget the name of this. A size whale, size whale, I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But look at that. That one's called a solar flare. And then this blue whale, if you look, it's got constellations on it. Now, I had been eyeballing another pin, and I don't know if she knew that I had been, or if she just was a good guesser. And she sent me a free pen because I purchased 3, and I was so touched. She sent me the Celestial Narwhal pen. And y'all know how happy that had to have made me. So I have to make a new pen holder to put all these beautiful pens on. But I will get that done. And then Noelle from Charmed and Dangerous is going to I might as well just send her my paycheck. Because do I need more polymer clay cuteness in my life? No. But then again, what's need? Define need. I've been wanting to get myself some polymer clay, or try some polymer clay crochet hooks. And I've been looking at some different makers. And then Noelle jumps up and says, oh, I'm going to start making polymer clay crochet hooks. Okay. Thanks. Here's all my money. And what she did was she had some incredibly reasonably priced hook and charm sets, or hook and stitch marker sets. And of course, I told myself this was my budget. And luckily, when she gave me my discount on the shipping, because I bought multiple things, she kept me on my budget. So, the first set that I got, the hook is the moon. It's a glitter moon, and then it came with a star stitch marker. And then the second set, and I kind of forgot that, because they're so well priced, I kind of forgot you got a stitch marker too. The second one was a ladybug and a pet rock. Oh my gosh, look at those. Aren't those sweet? And then, for whatever bizarre reason that goes on in my head, I decided I needed a snail. Because why not? Why not have a snail? Right? He's a glittery snail. He glitters. Maybe it's because when I was a little kid, the house we lived in was not in very good shape. And the bathroom floor had a hole in it. And snails and things would come up. And I would feed the snails. I would go in the kitchen and get lettuce and feed the snails. And I would put them in a jar and try to keep them. And one day I accidentally stepped on my snail friend. And that made me very sad. So maybe I decided I needed a snail to remind me of my snail friend that I used to get lettuce and feed for. Hadn't thought about that in years. Then, the next Saturday, sweet person that she is, the day that I had to bury Ellie Mae, she had another update. And she sent me a sweet note in this package. Again, how many polymer clay stitch markers do I need? I don't know that number yet because I haven't reached it. I'll let you know when I figure out what that number is. She had a stitch marker that is a hedgehog sushi chef. Lord help me, I don't know why I needed that, but I needed that. Then she had a black sheep donut. She had black sheep and white sheep, and I opted for the black sheep because, you know, black sheep got to stick together. But what caught me, what got me even looking on there to begin with, it's a pork bun. It's a pork bun. It's a pork bun. Is that not? And look, he even has a curly tail. The cuteness is killing me. Anyway, so, you know, got to support your friends that are makers, right? So she does a good job. She's got beautiful stuff. Charmed and Dangerous. That's all my acquisitions. We're going to stop there because that's enough. Anyway, so now we're going to move on and talk about some science. Okay, so obviously we're out for school for the summer, so I'm teaching an online class, but I also did a teacher workshop, and I also help with Camp Connect. The teacher workshop was a grant that I had gotten through the Library of Congress on how to use primary source materials, and I wrote up a grant talking about the journey of Thomas Nuttall. And a lot of people don't know who he is. He's one of the biggest things to happen during that period of time in Arkansas history, and sadly a lot of kids don't know who he is. And of course, as I've mentioned before, this is the bicentennial year of his journey up the Arkansas River. And so I had a group of 10 teachers, and Sasha came and spoke to him one day. A lady from the Arkansas Geological Survey came one day. Don Higgins, who is a friend of mine through the Master Naturalist, came and spoke one day. And then my department chair spoke to him about using technology. And then I also worked with him as well. And it was a great workshop. It was really great. I hope they got a lot out of it. They seemed to be pleased. So that went on for 4 days, and one of those 4 days I also had Camp Connect, where Community Connections, who is the community partner that I do my service learning with, the girl approached me, the woman program director, I shouldn't call her girl, the woman approached me, who is the program director, and she asked me if I would be willing to do an off-site activity for them, because they like to take the students, the kids, somewhere off-site or from their facility. And I said sure. So 2 of my students, Max and Luke, and then one of my former students, Garrett, and I was so proud. He messaged me just out of the blue, like the 2 days before we were doing this, said, "Hey, are you still involved with Community Connections? I would like to help." I said, "By the way, on Monday," and he's been working at the local hospital, which is literally half a block from our building. I said, "We're doing squishy circuits with them, where you can use Play-Doh and LEDs and make circuits, because Play-Doh is actually mildly conductive." So Max and Luke and Garrett led a exploration of squishy circuits, and then I did a planetarium show for them. And they had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And then I had my teacher workshop, as I mentioned. And then also, there was a young woman who has been in my classes several times. She's been a leader in service learning, Monica. She and I visited quite a bit when we went on the trip out to the National Severe Storms Lab. She's a math major. She just graduated. I was very proud of her for graduating and doing so well. Excellent student. And she's like, "I don't know what I want to do," and all this. We'd been talking about it, and out of the blue, she sends me an email and says, "Dr. Burris, I have decided I want to pursue my PhD in mathematics." Yay. And she said, you really have encouraged me and given me, a lot of confidence that I can do this. Would you be willing to write me a letter of recommendation? I said, "Oh, absolutely." So I had written her a letter before for a scholarship, and so I took it and I tweaked it and added to it. And I was so proud to be able to write that letter for her. She is a really outstanding young woman, and I know whatever she decides to do with math, she'll go extremely far. She's very driven, and she plays the mandolin. How cool is that? I found out talking with her one day, she plays the mandolin. That's awesome. But anyway, so that's really what's going on as far as the teaching goes. As I said, I've been teaching my online class, but that's, just kind of going along. I was also visiting with our newest hire, Jeremy, who is one of my former students, about some projects that we could do together. But this week's science sprinkle, as Jessica calls it, I want to talk about, kind of highlight another woman of science, and in my opinion she is. There is a new podcast called Encyclopedia Womanica, and it's little short biographical sketches of influential women. They have done Sandra Day O'Connor. They have done Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Lucille Ball, Mary Pickford, just different people. Well, one of the people that they highlighted, and I had heard another podcast about her, it was either Stuff You Should Know or Stuff You Missed in History Class, about Frances Glessner Lee. Frances Glessner Lee is called the mother of forensic science. She was born into a wealthy family. She was educated very well up until she completed high school, and then she was not allowed to go to college because she was, you know, it was late 1800s, early 1900s, and girls didn't do that. Her brother went to college, but she made some friends, I think through him, with some medical students, and they got her interested in the death investigations. This was the period of time, as I've mentioned about the Poisoner's Handbook, where they were moving away from the coroner system and trying to actually start medical examiner, you know, the model of the medical examiner. And she was really not allowed to pursue this as a study until her brother died, and her brother died fairly young. So she was 52 when she decided she was going to study forensic science. And she had a substantial family inheritance, so she used part of her money to endow the Harvard Department of Legal Medicine, which was the first forensic medicine program in the country. And she also started the Harvard Association in Police Science, where she would host semi-annual workshops for detectives and police officers and forensic investigators to come and do studies. And what caught my attention about her the first time I heard about her was she created what she called the nutshell studies of unexplained death, where she took case files, mostly ones that she was allowed to go and actually visit the scene, and she reproduced them in miniature. Except these were not just plain old miniatures. Everything worked. Mousetraps worked. Doors, rocking chairs, drawers opened. And they were miniature scale, complete, you know, with the right lighting, the right bruising on the corpse that was found. You know, if there was blood spatter. I've been watching Criminal Minds, can you tell? The unsub, you know, whatever modus operandi they used. 18 of these are still in use today as a forensic study, so the solutions are guarded. But she has a lot of these are on display where you can go see them, but they're called the Nutshell Studies of Unexplained Death. And a lot of people attribute her to being the model or inspiration for Jessica Fletcher from Murder, She Wrote. So if you ever want to know more about Frances Glessner Lee, you can start out with the Encyclopedia Womanica, and then I believe it's Stuff You Should Know did a more detailed hour-long program on her. It was really interesting. So that's my woman of science that I wanted to highlight today, because I had heard that episode last week on Encyclopedia Womanica as I was driving, and I put a little mental check by that going, yeah, that's who I need to talk about. But anyway, so that's all that we're going to talk about for science this week. So now we're going to move on and talk about farm life. Okay, here on the farm, things are going well. We haven't had as much rain the last couple of weeks. My neighbor just came and mowed my lawn, which was deep enough to bail. I'm glad he got it mowed. But things are starting to definitely grow. The ducklings are now looking like ducks. I can tell the boys from the girls, because the boys have gone through their eclipse phase and now are starting to show their male plumage. It looks like I've got about 5 boys or 6 boys and about 11 girls. So that's a pretty decent ratio. The turkeys are growing. Unfortunately, I lost my female gray turkey, which it is what it is. The 2 little boys that are left of the grays, or the slates, I'm actually going to give to my friend Cassie's little boys. They had wanted some, and theirs died very early. So I said, well, if I end up with some extra boys, you can have one. So it looks like I'm going to have 2 pairs of chocolates, and then the 2 boys that are the slates. The chicks are all growing out good. Penny went on an adventure the other day. Apparently either I didn't get the door latched, or some of these folks that have been meandering up and down the road decided to unlatch my door. But I got a phone call at 6:30 a.m. after I was already at the barn, where my neighbor said, "Your pig's in the road." So I called my neighbor Connie, who takes care of my place for me when I'm gone. I said, "Have you gone to work yet?" She said, "No, I'm just about to leave." I said, "Would you please go see if that's my pig?" And it was. And she said she was so good. She said she was in the road, and I said, "Come on." And she followed my car up into the yard and followed me right back in the pen. So now we have a better latching system on the gate, so she can't get it open. So that was good. The horses are all doing good. Donkeys are all doing good. Cattle are all doing good. You know, hay is starting to roll around here. You know, now that it's been dry for a few days, there's hay being baled everywhere you look. You know, they're trying to get it all in this first cutting in so they can get another one later in the summer. The garden is doing really well. I brought a basket of goodies in just a while ago to make some supper for tonight. I've got some beautiful peppers here. That's a cowhorn pepper, and then this is a beautiful purple bell pepper. I've got some cilantro, which smells delicious. I've got a poblano pepper here. I've got some beautiful yellow squash. I've got some hot mustard leaves here. And what I don't have in here are the 2 pints of blueberries and raspberries that I picked that are going to go in jelly later tonight. So the garden is actually doing really well. I need to get out there and do some weeding, and I need to do some trimming around the edges, but it's really starting to do well. You saw my video about Ellie Mae, as I mentioned. You know, it's sad when they get old and you can't do really much to help them. So it is a sad, you know, that day's coming, but you never like to see it come. Do you, buddy? Am I talking to you? Yeah. Hi. Okay. Then we have started our writing program over at the Rainbow Riders program. I wore this shirt today in honor of the Rainbow Riders and also in honor of all my friends who are celebrating Pride this month. We'll talk more about that at the end. We started our writing program. We had a week of writing, then we had a week of jump clinic, which I missed most of that because of the teacher workshop, so I just helped on the ground. And then this week, we ride Monday, Tuesday. I do private lessons with the kids on Wednesday that want them, and then Thursday and Friday. Well, Monday we were working with Bo, and Bo spooked. Now, I have concluded that Bo, if he trusts you and he spooks, it's no big deal. But if he doesn't trust you and he spooks, he's going to like have a more major upset. And the girl that was on him, he didn't trust. And he spun around and she got off. I mean, she fell off, but she decided to get off. It wasn't like he bucked her off or anything. He just spun around. So I told her, I said, what we're going to do. And she got back on him and rode him for another 25 or 30 minutes, and that was fine. We'd been riding him quite a bit, and he'd been doing great. But, you know, something, who knows what it was. I think a smell. There was something like a skunk or something has burrowed underneath the barn. There's something going on with this one particular corner because all the horses kind of look at it askance. But it's been fun watching the kids make progress with their horses this summer. We make a lot of progress in the summer because we do ride 4 days a week consistently and work on things. Now, Tuesday, I had a group inside and Miss Marianne was outside. And something got into her horse, Gray, and he bucked her off. And apparently, I didn't see it, but she said it was a hard buck. He got scared of something. And, you know, horses are prey animals. And they're going to, if it's between you or them, they're going to pick their survival most of the time. But she's okay. She's sore, but she is okay, we think. No broken bones or anything like that. I've been riding Flame mostly and working with her. I did ride Gusty today because the little girl that has been riding her as kind of a lesson horse has started letting her avoid jumps. She doesn't refuse them, but she runs out, or she runs sideways and goes around. And I said, you know, you can't do that. And so I got on her today, and I'm just, you know, just like, okay, let's remember what we know here. I didn't get mad at her. I didn't get frustrated with her. I just said, we're going to, you know, the little girl had gotten off at 8 o'clock or at 9 o'clock. I said, let me ride her. I'm not going to ride her hard, but I'm going to ride her. And we had a good ride. She did really good. You know, Flame has done really, really good. Bo was doing good until he spooked, but you can't blame a horse for spooking. I mean, you can't really be mad at him for that. All the donkeys and the minis here seem to be doing really good, so that's exciting. You know, we're just kind of marching on through the summer. Canning has started. I've made jellies and jams already. I'm going to do some more preserving. I've got cabbage that's fixing to come off, so I'm probably going to preserve some cabbage, make some chow chow or some sauerkraut or something like that pretty soon. It's not quite as big a head as I want it to be. I was checking it a while ago when I was outside. It needs to get a little bit bigger. I want to make some comfrey salve. I just picked these big, beautiful leaves. Of course, something's eating a hole in that one, but these beautiful leaves off my comfrey plant. So I want to make some comfrey salve. It's good for the like injuries and stuff like that, bruising and stuff like that. It helps with that. So I'm going to make some of that, and I've got to do, like I said, I've got to do some weed eating and trimming up around, but everything seems to be doing well. My apple trees have lots of apples. My muscadines have got lots of muscadines on them. Squash is producing well. The tomatoes have set lots of fruit. So I'm pleased so far with how my garden is doing and how the summer is going here. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at here on the farm. So I'm going to come back and finish up with a few final thoughts. Okay, so as I mentioned, I wore my rainbow shirt for all my friends celebrating Pride this month. You know there are people who have issues with that, but the fact is I do not, and I support my friends. If they can find somebody that's good to them and will take care of them and be respectful of them and treat them well, I don't care if it's a man or a woman or a potted plant. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. You know, because that's one area of my life that I never was able to make work, and that's fine. So, you know, I'm proud if somebody's got somebody that they want to be with that'll take good care of them. More power to you. I wanted to mention I had talked about the Trevor project once before with Shipwrecked Sheep's Yarn. For those of you who follow the Try Guys, Eugene Lee Yang came out with a beautiful video about coming out and about his struggle as a person who was raised in the South, who comes from a conservative Korean family and is queer or gay. And he did this beautiful video, and as he talked about it, he said it's not all love and light. It's about my struggle and my continued struggle, because I have been ostracized by people in my family. I have had friends who have been treated horribly. There is a reference to the shooting at Pulse in Orlando. But it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of art. And I will link it below if you're interested in that. And so I was thinking about, because of course there's a lot of counter protesting going on, and we've talked about my white supremacist people that live down the road. You know, and of course there continue to be conversations about the treatment of people of color, about the treatment of women, about, you know, LGBT people, and I am heartsick that we live in a world where you could be beaten up, tortured, and killed over how you look, who you love, the color of your skin, who you choose to pray to or not, how you choose to express yourself as a person in a gender or in a gender role or not. It makes me heartsick that we live in a world where people that I love and care about have targets on them. And so I was thinking about that today, and I found a poem by a poet called Denise Leverton. Denise Leverton, she was born in, let me go back up here and look. I looked her up, 1923, and she lived until 1997. And she has a fairly extensive body of work, but her poems largely reflect her beliefs as an artist and a humanist, and she writes about love and nature and her faith and protest poetry and everything. And a lot of people who have reviewed her call her one of America's most respected poets. And the way she described it was a reader poking her nose into any Leverton book at random finds herself in the presence of a clear, uncluttered voice, a voice committed to acute observation and engagement with the earthly in all its attendant beauty, mystery, and pain. And I love that phrase. So the poem that I want to read is Goodbye to Tolerance, because it reminds me of that phrase of the one way, and I'm just going to say it wrong, but the way for evil to triumph over good is for good people to do nothing. So this is called Goodbye to Tolerance. Genial poets, pink-faced, earnest wits, you have given the world some choice morsels. Gobbets of language presented as one presents a T-bone steak and cherries jubilee. Goodbye, goodbye. I don't care if I ever taste your fine food again. Neutral fellows, seers of every side. Tolerance. What crimes are committed in your name? And you, good women, bakers of nicest bread, blood donors, your crumbs choke me. I would not want a drop of your blood in me. It is pumped by weak hearts, perfect pulses that never falter, irresponsive to nightmare reality. It is my brothers, my sisters, whose blood spurts out and stops forever, because you choose to believe it is not your business. Goodbye, goodbye. Your poems shut their little mouths. Your loaves grow moldy. A gulf has split the ground between us, and you won't wave. You're looking another way. We shan't meet again unless you leap it, leaving behind you the cherished worms of your dispassion, your pallid ironies, your joyful, murderous, wry-humored, balanced judgment. Leap over, unbalanced, then how our fanatic tears would flow and mingle for joy. Got to take a stand sometimes, right? What's that country song? You got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. Or as I said one time, open heart with backbone. That was on my mind today, because sometimes it's not easy to express your thoughts. Sometimes it's probably unpopular with people around you. But I can respect anyone except those who wish to cause me or the people or the furry ones I love harm. Those I can't deal with. I can respect you as long as you have a belief. I want to hear it, unless you want to kill people or animals out of meanness and unkindness. Then I don't want to talk to you. But anyway, so I thought that was a good poem, and I will leave that with you. And I appreciate y'all being with me. I hope that you've enjoyed this. You know, thanks for sticking with me. I appreciate my loyal listeners. And I'll be back sooner than 3 weeks probably this time. But until I see y'all again, y'all be good to each other and take care of each other. Oh, it's time for a nap. What, Willie? What are you going to tell him? Peace out. Bye. You going to tell him? Bye.